my name is Chad, and welcome to our Conference Tracker webinar.
What you're looking at now is is like your admin homepage. This is where, as an admin, you go to create your conference, design your badges, run reports, and design your certificate. So the first thing I'd like to go over is the basic info. This is where you go into your conference title, any kind of subtitle, and also the schedule of your conference using the drop-down calendar. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of dates, but that's just because it's my demo account, so I'm always adding dates. But I'm going to go ahead and add one for today and go ahead and save it. So the next thing we're going to look at are the settings. And what Conference Tracker can do, not only does it do sign in, but it does sign out as well. Are you interested in having your attendees sign in and out?
Yes.
Okay. So here you can require your users to sign out. You also can set a required presence. And what that means is they actually have to be in there for, in this case, 20% of the session to actually get the credits that are attached to that particular session. Attendees sign in, sign out, sign in, and sign out, if they're going on a bathroom break or something. So you can't have multiple sign-ins and sign-outs, but it will still calculate the time they're actually in that session. And if they meet that requirement, that's when they would actually get the credit. There's actually 3 ways of registering your attendees. There is an online registration option. Do you do online registration currently?
Yes, I do, through my website.
Okay. So basically, you could keep doing it that way, or you can let Conference Tracker do it. And the way that it works is, first after you create your form, which is what we're going to look at in a second, you can, put this iframe on your website, so, where they can actually, register for your conference straight there, and it would look something similar to this, where they can actually register for your conference. But to be able to do that, you have to create a registration form.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these registration forms, it's whatever information you want to collect from your attendees. So, you can make certain fields required and certain fields optional. So all the ones I haven't read are, the required fields.
Okay.
I can collect, I just make first name, last name, email. Those are the only things that you have to have for them to register in the Conference Tracker. Everything else is optional, but you could set it as required if you want to know what city and state they're from, or what their title, or what the name of their, practice is. You could gather that information here as well.
Okay. Can the registration handle payment?
It can, and we're going to look at it. But you see, these are all text fields. You can enter a list or even a checkbox as well. So I can enter a checkbox where I can, if you want them to check off whatever kind of information you want them to, whatever kind of information you want, they can check the box and say, okay, yes, I'm coming to the welcome reception.
Okay.
So either whatever you want there. Now, as far as the online payment, the way that we do it is through PayPal. If I go back into my settings, here's my online payments, and I can enable them, and I put my own, you would put your own PayPal, in here. So it really is just whatever email you use for your PayPal account. So
okay.
When the attendee does come in here and registers, so I can, we can just enter an attendee real quick, Jake Snake, and I'll just put. So what I did is that it takes me straight to PayPal, and I can this is my PayPal account. So as the attendee, that's my PayPal account, and I can enter my own password, and I can pay for this the conference registration fee.
Okay.
You can have different registration fees as well. You can have like a base registration fee. Here's an early bird registration fee, and you can set when the early bird is if that's something that you do.
Okay. Can you have add-ons to the registration?
Yes.
Like if there's a particular price to attend a reception or anything like that?
Yeah, that's something that we can actually add.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's pretty robust.
Yes. We can actually, if you want to use PayPal, it's pretty robust. Because that's the only payment option that we offer.
Okay.
You can also auto-accept paid registrants. So what that means is if they register online and they also go ahead and pay through your PayPal, it automatically registers them for your conference. If you don't automatically register them, what will happen is under your online registration here, here's all my attendees that have registered and paid or have not paid, and I can confirm their registration. Okay.
Okay.
It says pending, and it's because they have not paid. But even if they paid, it would still be pending because I have to accept them as the conference organizer. I have to accept each. Because you may not want certain people coming, if they're not chiropractors or if they're
right.
Right. So you can actually confirm them straight in here. And if you have a whole bunch of them, there's a filter for actually seeing which people. I can see paid and pending registrations, or accepted registrations, or discarded, or just all. So you can see, if you wanted to see only the paid ones, I can click on here. And of course, I don't have any that are paid. All the ones that are pending have not paid yet. So.
Okay.
And as far as sharing, not only can you put in an iframe on your website, but here's a link that you can send to chiropractors where they can go here and make the appointment through Conference Tracker.
Okay.
All right, so there are, like I said, there's 3 ways. That was the online registration. We also have a manually entering registrants. Now, this would be for, walk-in registration. Do you do walk-in registration?
Unfortunately, yes.
So it can be a pain within Conference Tracker. It really is not that hard. Basically, you go to your attendees and create a new user. If you have a computer at your registration table, you keep it on this screen, right? So the only thing required for Conference Tracker is the first name, last name, and email. The first 3 fields are the only thing you have to have in Conference Tracker for them to be an attendee. Everything else is optional, whether you want that information in there or not. Okay.
Okay.
You set the role by default. It's going to be attendee because that's most of the people who are going to be registering for your conference. And then here it says auto assign new card, and by default it's checked. And what that means is it's going to auto assign them an ID number. And the importance of the ID number is it actually builds the QR code. Okay, so whenever an attendee gets their badge, they're going to have their own unique personalized badge with their unique QR code. Well, that QR code is built off of what this number that we're going to automatically assign them. Okay, so you can automatically assign, but I know in some chiropractor conferences they have license numbers, and sometimes they like to use a license number instead.
Yes.
And the reason why you may want to do that is when you export your information, it's going to give you, okay, this attendee, first name, last name, here's their license number or ID number. So a lot of times if you want to be able to filter for license number or search on license number, you might want to do it that way. And if you do it that way, you just uncheck here, and you can enter the license number straight on here.
Okay.
So to make it really quick for you, first name, last name, email, uncheck this, put in there a license number, and you can save, or you can save and print badge at the same time. So as long as you have a printer, connected to the computer or, wireless connected, you can actually print out their badge straight from here, all on the same page, enter them, print out their badge, and give it to them. They're ready to go. Okay?
Nice.
Can be really, really easy. And we use Avery paper, 3x4 perforated paper, so you can actually, print them out on that paper. You just tear it out and give it to the attendee.
Okay.
So that's more for walk-in registration, but you can, if you want to manually enter attendees for whatever reason, you can. The last option we have is an import, and most people use the import, feature just because they either handle their own registration or they already have a bunch of registration before they purchase our software. So they do imports, and what you can do is it's basically just a CSV or Excel file.
Okay.
And like I said, the only thing that's required for your attendees is the first name, last name, and email. We do have optional headers in here as well, and some of those would be, their card number or their license number, city, state, address, zip code, phone number, the title, and their title and the company. So You can gather all that through this import, and it's really, really simple. And not only can you import your attendees, but you can also import your workshops. So, and the only thing you need for those is the name of the workshop, start time, end time, and what room it's going to be in. That's actually helpful for, when knowing which sessions are going to be in which room. So when you're on your Apple device and you're scanning, people into a certain session, you can search it by room or you can search it by session so you know which session you're signing into. Okay. But you can also attach the credits, and you can attach the speaker for the session as well. And the credits is important. If you give out credits, very important for the exporting of data, because it's going to give you the credits that they earned for that session, and the certificates, because it's going to total the credits that the attendee earned for coming to your conference. Okay. And the speaker is just when you export your information or whatever, it's going to say who the speaker was for that particular session.
Great.
So 3 different ways to actually get your attendees in there. Makes it really, really simple for you. Okay. So one other thing that I want to show you is the email broadcast. And this is something that's fairly new in Conference Tracker. But if you ever want to, this is going to go out to all your attendees, basically. If you ever want to, say it's a couple days before the conference and you want to send out an email to all your attendees to tell them whatever you want to tell them, you can. And not only can you send them to all attendees, but I can say, after the conference is over, if you want to send an email to all those attendees except for the ones without credit, you can. You can send an email to all presenters, all exhibitors, all conference administrators, or even those who attended a specific workshop. So a lot of options for email. Your own subject. Here's the body of your email, and you can send it just as easy to all your attendees straight from Conference Tracker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I want to go over the badge design. And just to point out, this is an attendee badge. We also have badges for presenters and exhibitors. If you want their badges to look differently, you can. Also, this one, the attendees badge, has a barcode on it. If I went and picked a presenter's badge, I can make it, this green color. I can say use this one, and you don't have to have a barcode on there. So if you just want their name and name of the conference, you could even put like the title and company there. That's something you can do. So all the exhibitors, the attendees, and the presenters can have different looking badges.
Okay.
So in the badge design, I uploaded our company logo, so it automatically came on the badge, and so did the barcode. So those are automatic, and the barcode is unique to each user, as well as obviously the full name and then the name of the conference. But any of these fields below I can actually add. So if you want their title on there or the name of their company or what state and city they're from, you can put it on the badge as well. So I can change background colors, I can change text colors, I can add any kind of text if I want to. So I can, come in here and add whatever I want to, change the font and color and size. So there's really, the badges are totally customizable.
Okay.
All right, and then you have 2 different ways of getting them to your attendees. You can actually print them out, which is what I think 100% of our attendees or our conferences have done, is print them out and give them out when they come to the conference. But you also have an email option where you can email your badges to your attendees, and they can just bring them with them when they come to the conference. But the certificates, people are emailing those out instead of printing those. So.
Yeah, that's a nice feature.
But so as far as the badges go, you can print all the badges out at one time. So you have all your Avery paper ready, you print all your badges out, and you tear them all out, put them in the the holders, and get them out to your attendees as they come into the conference. Something that we found out was, okay, well, if they have, say, just for example, 1,000 attendees, well, 2 weeks ahead of the conference, they already have that 700 registered, and they want to go ahead and print all the badges out then, rather than wait till the day before when all 1,000 have registered. So you can print them all out when you have, say, 700, but then you have those late 300 registrants register, and say, okay, well, I only want to print out the ones that are modified after the last time the badges have been printed. I don't print out all those that I already printed out before. I only do it from the last time or modified after the certain date and time.
Well, this is awesome. So, somebody who's actually done a conference has helped design this program.
So we
it's every event planner's nightmare is the badges.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's definitely hectic. But to be honest, what we offer as far as printing them out and then only after a certain time, and then also down here being able to print them out on a per attendee basis. So I can say, okay, well, I want to print out Polly Shore's, Chris Rock's, Chris Farley. So I can actually print them out, one by one or print 6 at a time if I want to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, say 6 came in or one person came back and is like, oh, I lost my badge. Well, I can come here and just in here and print it out straight from here.
Nice.
So. All right, so you have an Apple device, correct?
I do. I have iPhone.
All right, oops, I actually have to go create a session. I totally forgot. I'm just going to manually create a session so that we have something to sign in for today. So I just create a session. So what I'm going to do now is, if you have your Apple device, is it asking for the credentials to get in?
Yeah, it's asking for the domain, user ID, and password.
So in the chat, I'm going to put what it is because it's a lot easier to see than for me to tell you.
Okay. Checking your credentials. Oh, this is so cool. This is much better than the one I have. Basically makes it be a code. A session 101, 102, 103. It doesn't have a name. So you have to really know what session number that you're scanning for. This is nice that it actually has menus with names.
Yeah, see, I really don't have that much experience with any of the other programs out there. So I have seen them, like the big handheld things where they, that they use. What I'm going to do is I'm going to print out some badges. I'm not going to print them. I'm just going to show them on the screen.
Okay.
But did you choose which room?
Yeah, I'm in the comedy cellar. Oops. There are no workshops scheduled in this room. Okay.
Yeah, if you go to change room and go to room 2, that's the room that I put today's session in.
Okay, room 2. Got it.
All right, and then you can press scan.
Okay.
And you can just scan the barcode straight off the screen.
Oh, that is freaking cool. And it automatically tells you you're scanning in.
Right.
And you push that and it goes out. Oh, this is
exactly.
Nice.
You already know the system. I haven't even told you how to use it. And you can just keep scanning. So you can go ahead and scan some more if you want.
Oh, wow. So when they're all standing in front of you with 8 million people there. Very
right.
Cool. Now, it doesn't tell you who you scanned.
But on their badge, their name is on their badge.
Right, but if you, to verify that you did indeed scan that person in, how can I find out who I just scanned in to make sure theirs went through or not?
Well, it's on the Conference Tracker website. Like if I'm on ConfTrack, you can see here are the scans that we just did. So here are the scans we just did. So it is in real time. I can also go to attendance logs, and they're all here. Here's Alaska Cairo Society, and here's all the you signed in.
All right. So if I scanned them in twice, how do we weed those out? See, that's what happens is, the guy will walk in and he'll go, well, I don't know if I got scanned or not. So then you scan him again, and then you have him going in multiple times, like Nick Armstrong.
Right. Yeah. What will happen is they will show up as an invalid.
Okay.
So once they're, like, here's Andy Dick, he's invalid, and we can go in and see why. The reason why is because we signed him in and then out again. So he's either missing an in, or this out is not valid, and I can delete that and save it, or I can come in here and I can actually add an in, and I can add an out.
Okay.
And I, basically say, I can set the time that I want to
Okay.
be in.
So if you
You
have a
can-
double scan, it'll just invalidate the second in.
Right.
Okay.
If you have a whole lot of logs, I can say show only not valid, and only the ones that have issues.
Okay.
And some of them can be the duration is less than the minimum because they didn't meet that 20%. They only went to 10%.
Okay.
Some of them will just be, let's see, not signed in. So this Jim Carrey signed out, but he forgot to sign in. So I can actually, if I want to, I can create a log, before that 1 o'clock. Yeah, p.m. So I can log in now. He'll have a valid sign-in. Okay. So you can actually come in here. You can fix any of the logs. You can even manually create a log for a certain attendee. So say Chris Rock, he just totally forgot to sign in or out of the session. I can come in here and I can, determine which session he came to, give him a sign in, and give him a sign out.
Okay.
And then I just totally created him a log.
Okay, so the attendance log part is only editable from a computer. You can't do that from your iPhone.
Correct. There are
Okay.
a few things you can do from the iPhone. If there's, within Conference Tracker, if they're signing in close to the sign out time, or if they're signing out close to the sign in time, it'll let you know, hey, are you sure you want to sign in, or are you sure you want to sign out? That's kind of just like a caution. But we also have something else you can do where if the attendee isn't recognized in the device, so say, just an example, an attendee registers for the conference, in the middle of the day or something, and you haven't sunk your devices after he registered in the Conference Tracker, the device doesn't know who he is. So you scan him and it'll say, we do not recognize this person. Do you want to add this person now? And you can add them right then and there. That's the only thing you can do as far as like entering data, I guess, into the app. Yeah.
Okay, and so it's real time. So when you're using your iPhone and you've got 10 different sessions going on at the time, all of those scans are uploading right then and there.
Correct. As long as you have Wi-Fi, as long as you're connected, yes. So it is in real time. The only thing that's in real time, it's a one-way street. It goes from the device to Conference Tracker. You have to sync your device to get the information from Conference Tracker to the device. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, then that's what I was saying. If someone does, register, and you haven't sunk your device after he registered, he's not going to be recognized in that device. Or if a change has been made in Conference Tracker. So what we do is we actually recommend that after each session, you sync your devices so that you're not only making sure all the scans that you just did are going up, but also you're collecting any changes or any new attendees from Conference Tracker into the device.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, if they're not in there, then you can add them right then and there, and then Conference Tracker will actually sort it out itself.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
So we have some conference analytics, and this is just, telling you a little bit about your traffic of your conference. So it lets you know on which days how many visits you had. So here on January 8th, we had 5 visits. And of course, yours is going to look, a lot more impressive than mine, but, it just kind of tells you quickly what your traffic was in certain days. And I can print any of these reports out as well.
Okay.
The one that I really like are the workshops. So here's all your different workshops, and then here's the number of attendees that came to those workshops. So it's just quickly showing you how many attendees came to each workshop. But if you really want to know who actually came, click on any of these sessions, and it'll tell me, okay, here's my 5 attendees that came, how long they were in the session.
Oh, okay.
A percentage, and I can print this report. So I can see it on this is giving me the session and then every attendee that came in. But let's just say I have an attendee who has a discrepancy. He says that he came to, he should have this many credits. Well, just pretend that Dave Chappelle. Oops, I went to the wrong part. Pretend it's Dave Chappelle, and I'm going to view his. Okay, here's a percentage that he came into the session, but also on here on the right, it will tell you how many credits that this attendee earned, how many workshops he came to, and his average time in each workshop, an average percentage. So really the most important, how many credits he earned, and then being able to see which ones he came to.
Okay.
Not only that, but he could say, well, really, in T. Cole, I was in there for 20 minutes. It only says 1 minute here. Well, I can click on here. It's going to show me his log. So I'm going to say, no, it says you signed in at this time and signed out at this time.
Nice.
So, yeah, I can quickly go in and see where the mistake was made, maybe. So let's see. Do you have any exhibitors at your conference?
Yes, many.
Oh, really? Okay. What we have, and this is an add-on feature, and it obviously is something optional, but I'm sure you've seen lead retrieval systems. It's basically, that's what we offer. Same thing, uses Apple devices. Since each attendee is already going to have a badge with our QR code on it, all the exhibitor has to do is scan their badge using their own Apple device, or I'm sure they some type of lease option for the exhibitors, and they'll actually be able to collect that data. Okay, so when I go to say, here's all of my leads. I'm an exhibitor as Ron Burgundy, or here's all of my leads. I got Will Ferrell, Chuck Norris, Dwayne Johnson. Here's all my leads. Well, I can actually export all this information out. But whatever information is in Conference Tracker, I'll be able to get out as an exhibitor. Okay, so here's me, Ron Burgundy, as an exhibitor. Here's the attendee that I scanned, and then first name, last name, email. If he wanted to, if he entered his addresses for his practice or his phone number, company, I'd be able to get that as well. And not only can I capture that information just with scan, but I also have a place where I can enter notes inside just using the device. So it might have some notes that I entered when I was talking to him.
Okay, like follow-up
right.
promises type things. Okay.
Or he was interested in this product. Something like that. Okay. So I'll be able to see each exhibitor will have their own Conference Tracker sign-in where they can go in and see the leads that they captured while they were at the conference. The only exhibitor I have, I think, is Ron Burgundy. So, and each exhibitor obviously is only going to be able to see their own. They're not going to be able to see anyone else's.
Okay.
And that brings us to the certificates, and they work basically the same way as the badges do. Okay, we have different templates to choose from. So we just added some more professional looking ones. I'm not sure. We started off with these, and I didn't really care for them too much, but we actually have some decent looking ones now.
Okay.
But you can choose which template you want. If you don't like any of our templates, I actually, took this one off of one of those free, template websites, but you can enter your own background image. So that's what I did. I entered a certificate, template background image.
Okay.
And also I have, all these windows that I can add, like full name, obviously that's always going to be on the certificate. You can enter their title, the company they work for, the name of the conference is there, the date, and then you can even list which workshops they attended right on their certificate. So if you want that to be on there, you can enter that, and it'll say every session that they came to, but also the most important part is how many credits they earned for going to those workshops.
Mm-hmm.
So you have all this information on there. Any of the information down here that you want to put on there as well. So if you want to know, their city and state and street address, if you want to put that on their certificate, you can. Add any kind of text, any kind of image. You can, same thing, change colors and fonts and sizes of all the text. And then you have the two different ways of getting them to your attendees. So certificate, you can print them out or email them. I can generate them all. I can exclude attendees that don't have any credits. So we can go ahead and look at what the certificate's going to look like. Okay, so it's, here's Nick Armstrong. The space is here because he doesn't have a title or the company, but I'm sure there's someone in here that does. Here we go. Here's Dave Chappelle. He's the marketing VP for Engineering Systems. He came to our Conference Tracker webinar conference. Here's all the sessions that he actually attended, and then he earned 16 credits for coming to our conference.
Okay.
So I can print all these out and manually send them out like most conferences do, but you can do them one person at a time as well, just like the badges. But you do have an option to email them, and this is what a lot of our clients are actually doing. You can still exclude those attendees that don't have any credits, and I can generate all the certificates, and as long as they have an email in Conference Tracker, which they should, they're going to get their own certificate attached as a PDF. With 2 clicks, you've sent all of your certificates to all of your attendees at your conference through email.
That's exceptional.
And if they want to print them out themselves and hang them on the wall, they can. That would be totally up to them. So not only will they get their certificate, which is useful for them, but they can also export the data. I mean, you can export the data and send it to whatever accreditation association you need to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can actually send out my attendance logs as a CSV, HTML, or Excel file. And what this does is, it's going to open up Excel. Do you actually send out your information to somebody?
No, I don't. Not at this time. But if we become PACE approved, we would have to.
Okay. So what it does is here's the different workshops. Here's the room that the workshops are in. The status just means it was valid, invalid, duration was less. So it tells you the status of each sign-in, how many minutes the attendee was in the session for, and these are just because I entered like what I did today. I fixed a log that was old, and I gave them a new sign-out time, so that's why it's in so many.
Okay.
So I have a first name, middle name, last name, email address, their card number or license number, and that's why I was saying it might be important to have their license number in here. And then how many credits they earned for going to those sessions. Now, most of them say 0 because the duration was, less than the minimum, and that's probably why. But, here's a 2.5. So it'll tell you, okay, for this attendee and this session, they got this many credits, 2 credits. Here's their sign-in time and a sign-out time if they have one. And, when you get it into Excel, you can sort it any way you want, filter it any way you want. So if you want to export it out of Conference Tracker and see for yourself, you can. And I always recommend that you do, after you fix all your logs and everything looks good, go ahead and export your information, for future records because, Conference Tracker is not going to be available to you forever.
Right.
You'll have a couple months after the conference to sort everything out and get everything exported and just to make sure everything's done. And then you won't have access to that account unless you buy an annual, subscription. But if you have one, so. And I think that is pretty much everything in Conference Tracker. I don't think there's anything else I can talk about. Do you have any questions?
The only question I would have on the badges, you talked about the Avery 3x4 conference ones.
Yeah.
That's obviously a full sheet. So when you're printing single badges, they're going to come out on a full sheet, right?
Correct. Yeah. If you do it that way, the only other thing I can think of, and what some conferences have done, is not only were they they were sitting in here adding their attendees, and they were just saving them. Okay, they saved them, and then they went to the print, and then they would print. Basically they had to tell them, can you wait a second? Stand over here for a second while your badge is being printed. They help 5 other people out, and then they print out 6 straight in here.
Okay, perfect. That solves that problem.
It does get costly, using one attendee per page for that A4 paper because it's not super cheap. So I decided to go with Conference Tracker. Obviously, we want to open it up, maybe a couple of weeks to a month before your registration process starts, or whenever you decide to If you're sending emails, if you're going to send an email out, letting them know, you might want to go ahead and open it then. If you're going to use the online registration through Conference Tracker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just so we can get that taken care of. Do you have any other questions? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the credentials to this demo account so you can go in there and play, do whatever you want to do within this demo account. Make sure that it's going to you.
To check this out too, because everybody has an iPhone. Whenever we have conferences, we have to rent additional scanners because they're just too expensive for us to buy. We have 2, but in order to handle a conference that has 10 sessions going on, you need to have 10 of them.
Right.
And but everybody has an iPhone, and the one problem that I ran into with the system that we were using is, number one, it's not real time. You have to then take all of those scanners, and after the conference is over for the day, I have to sit and upload all of them. And when you've got your conference may get over at 6 o'clock, but you have a social event that you are supposed to be at a half hour after it's over, it doesn't leave for a lot of time for you to do all the uploading of the scanners. And
right.
So, and if you can just commandeer everybody's iPhones and say, here, download this application and here's what you're going to do. And I definitely think it's a viable option for us here in Alaska. Just need to see the pricing on it. And love the whole exhibitor lead thing. That's kind of a nice tie-in to allow you to, maybe make a little bit of money, but also offer them an option that would, better fit their needs too.
Yeah. All right, well, I will get that quote out to you soon. And just let me know if you have any questions or if you want to see another demonstration, whatever you want. Just let me know, and I'll get it out to you shortly.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chad.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.